So moving into our third session of the day, we're going to have two speakers and a bit of kind of a conversation here, a bit of a different format. So thank you for coming back and joining us. So for the next session called The Path into the Multi-Cloud, I would like to introduce you to our two speakers. Christine Serrette, she's the Technical Vice Director of the Federal Information Technology Center, ITZ Bund. The ITZ Bund is the central IT service provider of the German federal administration. And George Welz, he's the CEO of Delos Cloud GmbH. And Delos Cloud provides a sovereign and secure cloud for the digitalization of the public sector in Germany. So please, Christine and George, join me on stage.
Hello.
Nice. We have like this very friendly format now where we are all together on stage. I really like it. The multi-cloud, right? So, Christine, what does the multi-cloud in practice means for customers and clients from their point of view? What does it mean exactly?
I think we have first to answer the question, what is the multi-cloud? So that we can then see what is the different or what does it mean for our customers. So currently at ITZ Bund we have two clouds, two private clouds. One of the clouds are certificated so that we can run even VSNFD data in this cloud. And then we have another one which we started to build in 2017 already. So, but this is not the multi-cloud. What do we need is more, we need public cloud services and we need sovereign cloud services. We hopefully provide by George. And our customers we need to use these services for our customers. There are different reasons why. First, I cannot put everything in our data centers. Of course, our cloud is in our data centers, but it gets full, and then we have to build new. But you don't need to do this because there is this cloud offer in sovereign or even in public cloud. So this is one reason why we need it. The other reason is, I think you know all this problem too, the resources. I don't have resources, and I will not have resources to be able to serve all this demand for all the application of the German federal government and German federal administration. So therefore, I need to divide what do we have to deliver from what kind of stack. So the biggest question is security of the data. So is it really protected data which needs highly protection? It's of course in our data centers, it will be in our cloud, in our private cloud. The other question is this data needs to be in Germany, states to be stored in Germany and be protected by our borders? Then I come to George and said, I think this is kind of applications we could run in the sovereign cloud. And of course, there are other data. For me, the biggest example is always why the websites from every ministry and administration is in my data center. I don't need to have it in the data centers. These data don't need to be protected. They are open and public for everybody. So I would like to push this into the public cloud and then save resources on our side and not to do the ISS or the PaaS layer. I can get this from outside, and I just have to do the application layer. So this is the concept, but how can I now manage all this? How can I still get an overview? Where are these applications and who's using which application on which platform or on which cloud stack? So therefore, our key is multi-cloud management. And this is where we are working on currently. How can we get organized? How can we organize all these applications, not only in the management of the systems itself, but even for, the tickets? Where do someone placed a ticket for this application in the public cloud by a public provider or in the private cloud. So this is the whole organization we need to put around. And this is the adventure we are going through currently.
Very good overview.
So, and therefore, yeah, we need to integrate our partners. And this is always which processes do we have to follow? Which is the ticketing system? This is the first question I asked. Okay, how do we get all these things together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So eventually, then we have to talk about. It's quite like it leads to more complexity in IT, like the multi-cloud. How can this be managed and mitigated?
Yeah, so this is the keyword is definitely the multi-cloud management. And the complexity is not only because we want to go to the cloud. We will have still a lot of, I say it, classical IT, so applications which will not go into a cloud. They still stay. So, for example, it's my biggest example, for the German customs, we have Atlas. It's a huge application. But we have just one customer in Germany, the customs. There will be nobody, no one else, no other organization who will use this application. And we have other examples. So perhaps they will go one day in the cloud because there's nothing else. But currently, this is not my first project. I will put Atlas in the cloud. This doesn't make sense. But there are a lot of others, and especially the new ones, the new applications who come, where I can realize them. And I need to gain speed much faster. So when our customers come over and say, I have a new project, I need these kind of services or servers, infrastructure, I need much too long to provide this so that they can start. So therefore, I hope I will get much more out of the cloud so that I can deliver this much faster, and they can at least start the development. And this is also, I hope, so currently, because I just can, this is what I really want, and I really hope out of it, is that we can deliver the infrastructure, the PaaS services much faster than I can do today, and then we can deliver even and bring to market or bring to our customers these applications much faster. So, and then, yeah, not to lose the overview, and this is, I think, the big advantage. So, I have no answer how to do it. I can just say we are on the way and we figure out how to do it. What we need currently is a very reliable multi-cloud management, and we are getting closer to it.
Well, this leads to the key question: why does the German administration want to use cloud anyway? Commercial cloud, hyperscaler cloud, whatever you want to define it. And I think one aspect in that one is you want to have access to innovation at the same speed you usually know from the commercial market, but you don't want to compromise on IT security, data protection,
Definitely.
And sovereignty. And if it comes to sovereignty, one major piece of sovereignty is the freedom of choice.
Yeah.
So if you have just one cloud provider and you need to stick to that one because all your administrational data are in that one, and you also might be limited to certain functionalities, you're not sovereign, you can't choose. So actually you need to go into a multi-cloud environment, which is the first answer on the question why to do this anyway. And second, then you need to figure out how processes, APIs, the way you deploy something, the way you disemploy something needs to be standardized, because probably you don't want to deal with 5 cloud platform providers, or including your own one, and have a different process how to purchase, deploy, or disembark from this platform again.
No, then I will have no resource gain. So,
and that's exactly the point. So why gonna do this huge project over years, enabling the administration to participate in all the speed of innovation, all the startups that are deploying new services in a very fast way, running in an elastic environment that actually is only creating costs if you actually use it, without compromising on sovereignty, security, data protection questions, and there are a couple of more actually. And then bring this together, and what we are doing is actually doing is on a first platform, because you need to start somewhere. But while doing this, figuring out how this might be then extended to different platforms, creating this multi-cloud environment.
Yeah.
But is it inevitable that this distribution of workloads throughout different platforms leads to complications or?
Sure. It does make it easier, but I think there's no choice. So we have to find a good way to manage this complexity. Because, I said it in the beginning, we will not be able to work without cloud and put everything, all the digitization. We want to digitize, but we have to digitize. And we will not be able to put everything in our data centers. That will not work. And even for the administration, for the maintaining, I have not a lot of people for it, and I will never get these people. Even if I get a lot of Planstellen, sorry, this I need to do say in German, I will not find the people. So therefore we need even to answer to this question, and I think the cloud, the multi-cloud is a very good answer to this question. So then I can give a lot of work to the providers, and then I really just take care about the applications, the special applications, and see that the security and the usability on these, what I really have to deliver to my customers, this is then our core business, and not the rest underneath. I think they can even do it more, and perhaps sometimes even more secure than I can, in certain.
I think there is a second side of the house if it comes to complexity for everybody who's offering services or who wants to offer services to the German administration or public sector. If you have to deploy your software, your solution, your SaaS solution in 10 different flavors for on-prem, in the cloud, in a different cloud environment, with no standards, with no standardized APIs, whatever, it's very likely that you don't get enough variety of offerings, which is again a sovereignty question. So if you want to really foster the open source environment, if you want to have a more, if you want to call it that way, national European offering for the German administration, you need to provide a platform which delivers a secure and predictable way for somebody to develop services against that one. And if you do this once, you actually can expand it to the other platforms, which has a little bit to do with setting some guidelines for everybody who wants to interfere or interact with the German government. Not guidelines about how you're going to solve something, but what you want to achieve, and around the standardized processes, APIs, the way we're going to deploy it, whatever.
Mm-hmm. George, so the big question, how can then successful cooperation between public and private sector work when it comes to cloud transformation?
Well, it may sound a little bit simplified, but we figured out that transparency and open communication is always the key element in there. I think we are coming from an environment where, well, the administration, the regulatory entities pretty often told the industry how to do something, and we are moving into a way that they tell us what they want to achieve and leave the way open as long as we stick to the platform requirements, the red lines actually set there. And within this process, very honestly, we are doing something which nobody else has done on a global scale before. Administration, national cloud operating entity, and also the technology provider. So there is no other way than really working in a modern, open, communicative way, and don't be feared that you say something that later on will turn out a different way, because it's basically a little bit of pioneer work we're going to do here.
Would you like maybe to see if we have some questions? Or
yeah, we can, but I just would like to add one little thing. And why do we do this? Why does the ITZ Bund want to offer this multi-cloud to our customers. Currently, we started already, 6 years ago, a huge project in Germany, IT consolidation, with the consolidation of the operations, so the data centers all in ours, so ITZ Bund, and even the services, so that we can provide for certain services, collaboration services and others, two different ways of doing things, but we can offer this to our customers. And if everybody would go to the cloud, all our customers, then we make this whole project useless. So therefore, we need, as ITZ Bund, really a very good multi-cloud management system, or the whole strategy for it, so that we can continue with the IT consolidation, but moving it one step higher into the cloud. This is, for me, very important to say that.
Thank you. So I'm wondering, we still have a bit of time for questions, and we would love to hear from you. Maybe here at the front.
Hi, my question would be, how is this linked to Gaia X initiative, or is this initiative still alive, or what's your thought on that one?
So for us, it's not very much linked to it.
Why not?
Why not? That's a good question. I don't know if it wasn't forced enough, I don't know, but for us, it doesn't play so much role.
Well, first of all, if it's still alive or not, it's something we need to ask different people probably. From our point of view, Gaia X is a set of rules how you're going to exchange data between different platforms. It's never been meant to be an infrastructure. So there is a linkage. If you want to, the Delos Cloud Platform will be able to interfere with the regulatory rules Gaia X has put on themselves. But I think from our understanding and general understanding, Gaia X is not a kind of network or infrastructure platform. It's a set of rules how you're going to exchange data, and then the answer is yes, we could do there and could participate. Just keep in mind, we're talking about a sovereign platform for the German government, also able to handle restricted data. So there is a certain amount of things you need to get answered before you exchange data on a European network, but it's still possible.
Anyone else? In the front.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm a data protection consultant. My question is regarding standards. So what standards in IT security do you actually put on the private sector when it comes to data that needs to be protected? And then also, how do you strike the balance between not putting too much regulation on on the providers so they can actually provide innovative products that you want the government services to use?
So currently, if I talk about data protection, it's sure in our private cloud. So our cloud is certified to IT Grundschutz and VSNFD by the BSI. So therefore, we use the different regulations there. I would not go here into deeper. I think you understand. So, and then but this is exactly the question for why do we need a sovereign cloud? Why do we have public cloud? So this is my decision, or our decision. Where is this application with this data we drive into this, or we use into this application? Where does it go? And this is a different security level. So therefore, for the sovereign cloud, we have to figure out how is it connected to the data, to the network of the German government. This is one big question. And even how can we make sure, and I think George can explain this much better than me, how can we ensure that this data really stays in Germany and not somewhere else?
Well, generally, one point is that's the reason why we've brought this project in a pretty intense process with discussing with data protection officers, regulatory officers, BSI, LSI, whomever, in order to get all these questions solved on a platform level and actually pulled before the brackets. Because today, if anybody wants to deploy a software with public sector, build a new solution, you need to, for each workload in each customer, run through this process in a single way and figure out, do I really comply to the European and whatever thousands of rules existing there. We're going to do this on a platform level, solve it on a platform level so that everybody who wants to deploy something on the platform can be sure it can be used by the German administration, and the German administration is sure that they are on a legal, secure platform without any additional tests and whatever. Last topic, as you know, there are tons of regulations, so it's a little bit of also a process pretty much on the administrational side to get this consolidated and put into one framework, which could be considered then to be something like cloud platform requirements one needs to fulfill if he wants to deliver services to the German administration on all levels. By the way, we're talking pretty much federal here, but it's similar situation on if you go on state or community level.
I think we have time for one more.
Oh, okay.
It's all coming from here. Maybe I have one from here as well.
There's one.
So let's just switch sides and then we come back. Maybe we have time for two. Let's see.
So thank you. When we use the public cloud, and sovereign cloud is quite similar to public cloud, the first time 10 years ago we noticed that we have to change strongly the way we work with the cloud, we as a company. So the way we distribute responsibilities between functions, for example. How much are you aware of that, and how's the likelihood that the public service actually changes internally?
Yeah, it will turn, I say, when we started the project 1.5 years ago, I said we will turn the ITZ Bund upside down. Because first, how do we offer our services to our customer will be different, and then how we deliver the services and what is really our job, and not we don't manage anymore the whole stack. So what is really our job? This is a huge project we are running, organizational project we are running inside, and so far I have no idea. I have no answer to this, but I just know we have to change it. And we have not only to change our processes, and this is, I think, technique, easy. Sorry, I say that, but it's not so easy, but it's easier. But change people's mind and get the people out of the fear, I will lose my job because I have to change my job, and perhaps then, okay, all this layer will be delivered by the cloud and by someone external, I will lose my job. No, nobody will lose his job. Everybody has to change. But that's all. So therefore, we have this huge organizational project in-house, and perhaps I can come next year and tell you some of the results. So far, I have no idea. But it's huge.
One more? I think then I guess we have to wrap after that.
Hi. Thank you for the speech. It's very insightful. My question is about what are the reasons for actually storing data inside of borders of, in this case, Germany, considering that today's level of maturity of encryption technologies is very high, and you can basically encrypt everything and put it anywhere in the cloud, in the US, China, wherever you want to, and be sure that your data is actually safe. So what are the reasons for still making sure that the data is confined in geographical borders, and why not invest more time into improving the encryption and basically making the geographical location of data irrelevant?
I think we do both. So we are not as far so that we can say today, who cares where the data is? It's encrypted. Nobody can keep it, can get it and work with this. We are not so far with the discussion and with the proof that this is true. So therefore, there's a lot of data. I can't even imagine. So perhaps I'm too old for it. I don't know, but I can't even imagine that these data will leave Germany. So this is still, of course, the sense of security. It's safer if it's in our country. So what I think is, even if no one will use the data, but the data is gone. Could happen in Germany too, sure, but perhaps we have a little bit more of influence of it.
Maybe just to add on, first of all, good question, I fully agree. But there are different regulatory systems. Data protection, security, fine with that one. I think the first step we all need to do, unfortunately, is doing data classification. We need to figure out which data has which level of protection necessarily, and then take a decision if it's public cloud, which probably will be cheaper and faster, if it's a sovereign cloud, or do I going to keep it on-prem. The second element is this strange concept we were discussing for 2 years now of sovereignty. And sovereignty means that no third party can interfere with your ability to deal with your responsibilities. And if you're on a state level, on a federal entity, there might be some differences to our private life where I don't care if my email's floating around the planet. If somebody else could actually stop the government from using, simple example, their email client, you're interfering with the sovereign, the ability to act on a sovereign level as a state. And I think there are different balances between sovereignty, security, data protection, and stuff like that.
I guess we have to wrap. Thank you so much, Christina and George. And I'm sure you're here for the day, so I guess you can also find them during the day to ask if you have more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.